But the only thing I want to say about my novel about Roosevelt Franklin and Sesame Street is that if you continue reading, and like if you read it and you get to like the 2/3 mark and the end mark, I think the Black Paramedia audience will like it. Because what I did was I decided to write kind of a loving homage, if not a borderline parody, of the kind of Black Power memoir, like Seize the Time or the autobiography of Malcolm X or the
So I have to admit, I've been confused about this. So I have not read the book.
Right.
So tell us where to get the book, and then break it down again because I'm confused. But where do we get it though?
It's on Medium. It's free. I always wanted to write for Medium, and I thought writing a novel would be perfect. So it's called At the Dark End of Sesame Street, the autobiography of Roosevelt Franklin.
And who was Roosevelt Franklin?
Roosevelt Franklin was the first identifiable Black Muppet on Sesame Street. He was evicted from Sesame Street. He was evicted from Sesame Street because the Black middle-class parents did not like his skits in an all-Black school where he was teaching self-esteem, how to do right by each other. And by the way, Black Paramedia audience, they did a skit on Africa where he's showing them where all the diamonds are and where all the minerals are. Yes, he does a whole skit on Africa. And after all of these skits where he did all of this stuff, they kicked him out. First, they tried to bus him, right?
So this is it here, right? Do I have this right here?
This is the press release, right? That's the press release. And if you go to that link on the headline, you'll go to the novel. So if you go to that link right there, it should go right. It should go right to the novel, I think.
No, it doesn't.
Well, anyway, there's a link
to
a
Google search.
Release. But yeah, you just type in At the Dark End of Sesame Street, it'll come right up. So now,
I think I found it.
Was created by
I got it.
The first Black Gordon right there, Matt Robinson. That's Howie Robinson's Pete's father.
Oh wow.
He was the first Black Gordon. And the first Gordon. And he
wait, I don't remember him. I thought I was with Sesame Street from beginning though.
Well, I was like the audience for Sesame Street. I was born in 1968. I was the audience for Sesame Street. So I don't remember him, but I do remember Roosevelt Franklin. Anyway, so this novel is free. I call it a people's novel because it's free. And what I decided to do was I decided to write about Roosevelt Franklin as if he was actually real, as if he was actually a real brother on the street in New York who gets hooked up with these white liberals and has to deal with these white liberals.
Oh, wow.
And, he meets some people along the way. I'll just say he meets some people along the way that Black Paramedia people will know who I fictionalize. I take some real people from the movement in New York and I put them in this novel. So he meets, other broadcasters like Gil Noble and Gary Bird, who are young at the time. One of his mentors is Easy Reader, right? You know who the Easy Reader was, right? Morgan Freeman and his more militant.
Oh, right, that's right. From
because people forget in the first Easy Reader skit where he sings his song, Easy Reader, that's my name. He comes out of Mashaw's bookstore at the end of the skit.
Oh,
and you see Mashaw's bookstore.
Oh, damn.
And so I put Roosevelt in that milieu. And, I talk about him being on Sesame Street. And then I talk about the album. He was the first Sesame Street character to have his own album. And there is not only an anti-racism song on the album, I'm not kidding. There's an anti-imperialist, anti-Vietnam song on the album for 5-year-olds.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. No, when I started researching this, I said, this is crazy. This is a damn Muppet, and he's lived the African-American experience. So I just took it to its conclusion. I said, well, let me literally have him do that. And so he grows and develops from like a street rat to what he grows and develops to, as if we go by the model of the memoir, of this kind of Black Power memoir that I have. And so people who watch your show and other shows in Black Power Media, you might be interested in the first half, but I know you're going to be interested in the second half. I know that. And I'll just say that.
Zenzabel, thank you, and thank you for your previous super chat as well. Yeah, I'm a couple years younger than Todd, and so yeah, I thought I was at ground zero with Sesame Street, and clearly not. Were. Electric Company, Morgan Freeman, all of that. Yeah.
No, we all were. We were all.
But I don't remember the first Gordon though.
I don't know if I'm at ground zero.
That's because of
Renee. Don't put Renee at ground zero.
I don't think so, Renee.
I'm not that much younger than y'all. I'm not.
You look like an Elmo person.
No,
you look like an Elmo person to me.
No. I'll be 48 this summer.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I was there at the.
I was tail end. You were at the tail end of that.
Yeah, I'm at the tail end. Yeah.
You were at the tail end of that first group. So. And I was at the beginning of that first group, being born in '68. I think I was the beginning.
Big Teal choosing violence on a birthday. Why I can't be younger than? I feel like Eddie Kane. Why I got to be an alcoholic now? Why I can't be younger than? It's a mess out here. These YouTube streets is this mess, just terrible. Nah.
Oh, by the way,
my bad. Go ahead, man. Yeah.
I wanted to say, by the way, the album is online as well. It's on YouTube. So you can watch all of these clips of Roosevelt Franklin, including the Africa skit. And you can listen to the album on YouTube.
Is it linked in is it linked in your novel?
Oh yeah, it's all
okay.
Oh yeah, it's all
I think we should bring Todd back and have a whole conversation about this, because I am dying to read this thing now.
So let's do it. We'll read the novel
in a few weeks and really go through this, because
the link is in the show description now, so people can get it and read it, and we can all come back. I'm
very interested in how the powers that be and propaganda and media and all these things have worked in tandem to push people away from wanting to be revolutionaries. It is a fascinating, watching it happen in real time is fascinating. When I saw that clip of Cuddly Mike on the morning,
Breakfast Club, yeah, that was wild.
I was like,
that was funny.
What is happening right now? He really did all of that, right? Mad disrespectful, all of that. And for what reason? Because he doesn't want to have a principled conversation with you about something that you pointed out with actual research and documented facts. That's what we're doing now. And then when you really think about it, I see a lot of people talking about, his arrest and the whole thing. And I've seen very few people talk about the fact that the incident happened at 4:00 in the afternoon, and they let him go through the whole show so he could go on stage and accept his awards before they arrested him.
Wow.
Oh, is that how it happened?
Wow, I didn't know that's how it happened.
Yes, it is. The incident happened before the show.
Wow.
And then the whole show went. And he went up there and keyed and grinned and got his awards from the whites and
then just happily put himself in cuffs and did the whole parade so that he could go on the TV show and say that he's just like Malcolm Martin and Mandela.
Yep. And so it's it's crazy. Really, I'm not. Look,
wow.
When I posted when I saw the whole thing, and I was like, I really wonder, when you're a sellout, right? When you have sold your people out and you get arrested, right? Do you think to yourself, I'm a sellout, so it's all going to be okay? It's going to work itself out? Or do you think to yourself, damn, I sold out and I still got arrested, right? Which side of the line do you fall on? And then I see him doing this media tour, right? And it's all about the fact that, he got it is all this presentation of him as this person who speaks for Black people, and look at what happened, and, all the things he does. And, the fact that he was on The View which I still okay. And this idea that well, he's got to sit at the table with the people because he's got to sit at the table with the powerful in order to get stuff for his people. After he talks about waking up and looking at his $100,000 car, and it is mind blowing to me that this is the presentation, right? And that people still fall for it, because even when y'all were on EYL yesterday, there were people in the chat like, well, I agree with Mike on some things. And I was like, what do you agree with Mike on? Like, what are we talking about here? Because how can you agree with Mike, who is literally a living, breathing Black capitalist, selling you on this idea that Black capitalism can work because he did it, right? He made it happen. He pulled himself up by his bootstraps or whatever you want to call it, and think that this is okay, right? And not engage in a real conversation about how he is part of the problem, right? Because in his continuation of nah, we can do it, we can work with the people, like, oh, don't worry about Cop City because the 100 million's already been promised, so you can't really fight that.
Yeah, that was
like all these things that that comes out of his mouth. And I'm like, how do y'all take this dude seriously? Like how did he become somebody that and look, not for nothing, I was never a fan, so I can't like get into the whole music thing, but like, how can you be how can you have like I think to myself, is this like how I watch the NFL? Is it a contradiction like that? Like, you can like Killer Mike.
Well, but if you so even with what you both were talking about, even what I've come to understand about the recent history of Sesame Street, if you slowly remove all of the radical critique, you evolve generations who think this is radical. So Sesame Street, apparently, when we were watching it, it's on a city street, it's real people, Black and brown, it's a whole, and then eventually it becomes more of a Nickelodeon type set. It's more of a, they remove most of the people, it gets centered around Elmo. It's like all of the flavor, all of the seasoning, as people say, is removed. And then there's no hope. And then you take the broader political scene and you do the same thing. You take away the understanding of Huey Newton and his birthday today and Fred Hampton and all of that. And then Mike can come in there. And by the time Mike says, I was handcuffed like Martin, Malcolm, and Mandela.
Wow.
I mean,
wow.
And said it on The View.
And said it on, I mean.
Wow. Wow.
But that has become, and The View is meant to stand in as radical feminism.
Right.
So, I mean.
You know what's wild? The View is so important that they literally, their arguments or whatever, literally get turned into daily news stories by Entertainment Weekly and other places. Like, I keep wondering, damn, the View must be like,
I mean, it's a really popular show.
It clearly is.
It's very popular. I can't watch it.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.